Hello, this is Timothy Perfect from Two Canoe Software. I want to show something I recently discovered is how to use a debugger in scripting languages like Python or shell scripts, which something I always wanted to do before, but was difficult to set up. I never could really get it working to where it's efficient. I use a debugger all the time in Xcode for things like Objective-C and C and things like that, but using it in scripting languages has always been difficult, though I know it was possible to do, just it was very difficult to get up and running. So my main editor I use is called CodeRunner for doing scripting and those kind of things, which was really nice because let me open up a script here. I'll open up a script by Greg Nagel called install macOS. And it's great because it's got a very similar layout to Xcode. I can hit run and it'll just kind of run the script that you're running. So it's really great for that. But one of the things I recognized recently is you can set breakpoints. So if I go in the gutter here, you can see that in this main function, I'll set a breakpoint in the main function. And then when I click on run, it'll run the script, but then it'll stop on this breakpoint and allow me to see all the variables, and then I can step through it. And that's what these four controls are here. There's the right arrow, which is continue, so just continue running the script. Then you can have step over, so I go to the next line and the next line and the next line. And this is for functions. It'll actually go into the function and allow you to see it. So let's find a function here. We'll set a breakpoint here, and we'll continue down to it. And then I'll step over. And then here, this one's a function download and parse SU catalog. And if I wanted to just go past that and fill catalog, I could, or I can press this down arrow, which means it goes into the download and parse catalog. So there it is. I can start stepping through it, which is great. And then when I'm ready, I can go back up and it'll continue on with that same line. You can also see that it allows you, there it is. It allows you to look at the variables. So you can see here's the stack trace, which means that here's all the functions that are called. So this was called up by the Python, or actually the debugger, but it would normally be the Python language. And I'm in the main function. So if I were to set a breakpoint in, let's say, the download and parse catalog, let me do that. And I'll run it again. There it is. So it goes in there. You can see that it ran the debugger, then it called main, which is the main one, then it called this function. So it's a great way to see if you have like an error somewhere to look and see where the issue may be in the caller instead of in the function. So it allows you to jump around. You can see that if I go back to the main function here, I can see all the variables. Args are what's passed in to the script when it's run. There's a parser object and then the catalog. And I think if I can print this catalog, or just maybe I think I can do it right here. Just right click on it, print description. It'll print this description of what's in that variable. So it's a great way to be able to kind of debug your scripts while you're doing it and step through it. And it also will catch on errors. So let me introduce an error here. So right in the beginning, let me pull right here. I'll do like a equals 7 divided by 0. Right? So and I'll remove my breakpoint. Well, you gotta have a breakpoint somewhere. I'll put it afterwards, and then I'll run it. And normally, if a program crashes, you're kind of left to find that argument. And I'll continue on, so I'll hit that. And you can see that I have a crash here, right? It says division by 0. But look what happened. The breakpoint stopped. It automatically put in a breakpoint, or it broke right on where the error is. So I can see where it is, and I can see the stack trace where it started to run the main program, and then it got to this line, and it errored. So if I wanted to look at the calling function and the variable state of that, you could easily do that. So that's really exciting for me because it means that you can write these scripts a lot faster because you know exactly what's going on. And it's not just limited to Python. So each language has its own debugger, and this one appears to be the pdb server.py. So you normally have to install that, but CodeRunner has that built in, which is great. I will then open up a shell script that I have, one called the run. We have a product called MDS that allows you to install macOS, kind of in a mass deployment effort. But this is a shell script, so it's bash, and normally you would just set breakpoints. So one of the things that I love to do is do -x, and that means when you run the script, it now will output all of every command before it runs. You can also put in echo commands like what the name of this, what test is, right? So we say echo test, right? And it would tell you what test is. But that means you got to modify the code to do it. A better way to do it is to put a breakpoint in. So if I put a breakpoint in and then I run it, you can see that the script starts to run. I have another breakpoint here, but let me continue onwards. And you can see it stopped at test, and I'll just step over test. Now I can look, and I can see test has this blank 1. Okay, so if I think you do print test, it's just 1 with some spaces in front of it. So it's a Boolean, so I think that's going to be successful. So the network is up. Then I can see the network has been set to network is up inside that calling function, and on shell scripts, that variable is now accessible through the main function. And I can also see the other ones. Another great thing that's very common in shell scripting is using this source command. What source does is basically says take these, whatever's defined in that file, and just kind of insert it in to the script. So it allows you a great way to like populate variables and those kind of things. So if I were to put a breakpoint there and I run it, and now I can see that not only can I step past it, and you can see a new variable called package name is Windows 10, I can actually go into it. So I will click on run it again, and in source, instead of stepping over it, I'll step into it. So it'll open up that file, and you can see package name equals Windows 10. I can step over it, and then it goes past that, and it goes on to the next one, and I can see package name equals Windows 10. So it's a great way to be able to see exactly what is going on in your shell script and what the state of the variables are. It also, along with the stack trace and the variables, it also has the console, right? So I can enter in information if I were prompted. And you can actually see that if we go back to that Python script and I run it, and I'll remove the breakpoints and just let it run. I'll remove my divide by 0, because that's obviously not a good thing to have. And you can see that the output's happening here. And when I'm prompted to interact with the program, it says choose a version of macOS. I can choose it. So maybe I'll do 1. And so it allows me to interact with it. This errored out because it says, please run this again as root, which is very easy to do. I'll just, in front of Python, I'll put sudo, and then I'll hit run again. And this time it'll prompt me for the password. So I'll put my password in, and now I'll be successful. So this allows you to really interact and see kind of internally what the script is doing, instead of you having to fight along with like putting in debug statements and putting out the lines as you do them. It really allows you to kind of see what the state is. So it takes a lot of the debugging type things you would do with compiled code or languages that are compiled and you can use in a debugger and Xcode, and brings it to scripting languages. Code Runner includes support for a bunch of different languages. Some of them have debugger, some of them don't. But the big one for me is that the shell, the bash, being able to debug it is really is built in, so it makes it really easy. So thanks very much for watching. Please click on subscribe and leave any comments, any questions, and thanks for watching.